All right, positive energy all the time. Hope everybody's doing great. Let's get it. Rep your city, represent your city. I am representing Chicago, Illinois. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube. We have San Jose in the building. We got Chicago in the building. Great seeing you. Let's make it do what it do. Shot Town, stand up. Here we go. Temporary protective status has ended for about 300,000 Haitians. 300,000 Haitians will be deported. And some Syrians, if I'm not mistaken, will also be deported. Good to see you, April. So we're going to talk about it. I'm going to give my thoughts on it. There are going to be lots of people deported, Africans, Haitians, Mexicans, Venezuelans, over the next couple of years. It's going to be interesting for sure. My advice to you is to keep your ID on you. And so when I'm thinking ICE is really tripping, I keep my birth certificate on me. You see, I got dreadlocks. I don't want any problems. I keep my birth certificate on me. You can see my birth name. Because I changed my name legally, I also keep my document of my legal name change on me. And of course, my license. So I keep my paperwork on me when I know ICE is out doing a thing. I have to keep two documents, birth certificate, change of name. These are official documents. If you get your documents, make sure they have the official seal. You see the seal stamped? You can see the seal on the back stamped. And don't touch it when you're eating and get grease all over it. I got another one somewhere. Sometime when I'm downtown, I just stop in and get a couple, put them in the file. And my birth certificate that I would advise you, the official, make sure the seals are on them. All right. They can tell who I am because I have my birth certificate. But they're not just grabbing random people necessarily. But if you got your ID on you, your ID will show who you are. You shouldn't be, if you're an adult, you shouldn't be doing anything without your ID anyway. So if you're an adult and you don't keep your ID on you, it's time to grow up. Uh, what if it's an emergency? You accidentally be in a car accident or something. You don't have time to be at the hospital with them trying to find out who you are. Have an ID on you, not just for ICE, period. Have an ID on you. You might need to be identified. What if you have a heat stroke? What if you pass out or you ate something and you're just on the street? You need to have an ID on you. Seriously. If you're an adult, you need to have an ID on you. If you're a teen, you need to have an ID on you. Anyway, have an ID on you. No problem. Show your ID. Okay, go about your business. Driver's license is fine, but everyone should have a birth certificate too. Go downtown to the state building and get your birth certificate. It doesn't cost nothing but a couple dollars, I think. Depending on where you live, it might be free. Go get your keep a birth certificate too. Or get two, put one and file it, fold the other one up, put it in your purse, put it in your wallet. Get a birth certificate. Keep a birth certificate on you. That way, okay, I'm going to go down and get my passport. I got my license and my birth certificate. The birth certificate makes things quicker, faster, easier. If you're a businessman or businesswoman, have your birth certificate. Passport too, but still have your birth certificate. Very important document, birth certificate. Go downtown, get two, get three. They're cheap. Put two up, keep one on you. Because that has very valuable information. See? Born Michael Dwayne Stewart, mother Bessie M. McLeod, father Randolph Stewart. It has your mother's age, your dad's age when they got it. Plus, you just want to have it. This is your history when you was born. Father Alabama, mother Alabama. Why wouldn't you want to have this? This is probably your most important and most cherished document. This is when you were born. Right? And these are good to show your children too. See, this mommy was born and daddy, show them this your granddaddy, this your granddaddy, this your grandmama. Yeah, this is, you want to have a birth certificate always, You always want to have go downtown, get your birth certificate, okay? It's going to save you a whole bunch of headaches in a bunch of ways. Trust me. If you're doing any business, documentation. Like I said, I was born Michael Dwayne Stewart, so I have to have my name change papers to show them that now I am Pharaoh Ramesses El Atan, is it? Michael Dwayne Stewart. At the bottom, Pharaoh Ramesses El Atan. What a strange young man, huh? I did this. I did this in 1981. Let me see, 58, 68, 78, say 9, 80, 81. I was only 23 years old. I didn't want no slave name. So I went down and legally changed my name. That my father wasn't too happy about, okay? My daddy wasn't happy. Boy, he was not happy. Ooh. He said, boy, when they look at the family tree and they see Elaton, they ain't gonna know who you are. I said, Daddy, they're gonna know exactly who I am. They're gonna know that you was the last cotton picking slave, and I was the first king of the family. He did what he always do. Look at my mom. Bessie, what we gonna do with this boy? They've been saying that since I was my daddy. My daddy looked at my daddy looked at my mom when I said, you gonna be the last slave. They're gonna know exactly who I am. They're gonna know you was the last slave and your son was the first king of the family. I cleaned it up though. Because I cleaned it up. I said, Dad, but it's gonna make you look real good. Because it'll be like, and then Randolph's son, he didn't want to have no slave now. And that gonna make you look good. He said, yeah, you right. You right. I said, Dad, that means you did something. That means that's a good reflection on you. And he said, you right. It don't matter if I'm right, Daddy. I'm doing me. I'm grown. You understand? Me? You know what I'm saying? I ain't know. You're the boy no more. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now it's you and mommy. You tell mommy what to do. Okay. It's you and mommy now. See what I'm saying? I'm banging out my own babies now. See what I'm saying? I'm doing me, Daddy. So, anyway, get your birth certificate. Get your birth certificate. Keep your birth certificate. Get two. Get three. They're cheap. One in your purse, or in your wallet. Fold it up. Put it in your wallet, and have your ID on you, and you'll be fine. Don't worry about ICE. ICE is not going to just unnecessarily harass you. They're really looking at who they're grabbing, and they don't just take you and ship you off. They take you down the processing anyway. When they take you to processing, they're gonna make sure they're not gonna just ship you off like that. But yeah, temporary protective status is over for the Haitians. About 330,000, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I got, 300,000, over 300,000. Haitian communities across the United States are going into hiding and facing extreme fear following a Supreme Court decision allowing the termination of temporary protective status for over 300,000 individuals alongside planned immigration enforcement operations. Loss of legal status. More than 300,000 Haitian nationals lost their temporary legal status to live and work in the U.S. as protections initiated after the 2010 earthquake expired. Fear of arrest, immigration and customs enforcement operations have ramped up to target and deport individuals, causing community members to skip work, church, and daily errands. Safety concern. Advocacy groups and community members note that returning to Haiti remains dangerous due to severe gang violence and ongoing instability. Yeah. So that's what's going on. I'm going to talk about that, what I think about that. Yeah, I got mixed emotions over it. I don't really know any Haitians personally. I talked to some Haitians in passing that I know where they like work at and stuff, but I don't really know them. Does this include other immigrant communities? Syrians right now. They're mainly targeting Syrians. Well, they're targeting everybody that's illegal. If you're illegal, they catch you out of here. But the reason they're on the chopping block because they had temporary protective status. So temporary protective status ended for Haitians and Syrians. But if you're illegal, they after you anyway. So they still grabbing Venezuelans, illegal Mexicans, illegal Africans. If you're illegal, they still grabbing you. Yeah, if you're here illegally, you're out of here. The only ones might get a break is the white ones. They might let the white illegal immigrants go. They might not look for them. You know what I'm saying? But they're not looking for communities, but kind of. They're looking for individuals. Now, if there's a community with a lot of illegals, yes. But any illegals, they after you, they are going to put you out. They advise you to um, to leave on your own. And they're saying if you leave on your own, you have a chance to come back. But if they have to track you down, or if you leave and come back illegally and they catch you, some stipulation you can't come back. So there is a stipulation where if you make it easy, you can come back. But if you don't, you can never come back. So if you self deport, you can come back. But if they have to grab you, you can't come back. I think that's how it goes. I think that's how it goes. So, temporary protective status for Haitians in Syria officially ended on July 27, 2026, following a favorable U.S. Supreme Court decision, Mullen versus Doe, that allowed the Department of Homeland Security to proceed with terminations. This decision affects legal protection and work authorizations for hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries. Impact and status changes. Effective date July 27, 2026, marked the end of TPS designations and related employment authorizations for countries like Haiti and Syria after lower courts cleared implementation. Work authorization, employment authorization documents, EADs, tied exclusively to these terminated TPS designations are on longer valid are no longer valid, raising serious operational concerns in sectors like healthcare and long-term care. Enforcement concerns. Reports indicate potential increases in immigration and custom enforcement, tracking, arrest, or removal proceedings for individuals who have lost their temporary legal status. What's up, bro? Right, so that's what we got there. So if you leave on your own, you can come back. If they gotta go get you, you can't come back. I think that's how that goes. Right? So I think that's how that goes. And I don't have a relationship with Haitians. There's not a lot of Haitians in Chicago that I know of. There are people from everywhere in Chicago, but Chicago is the kind of place, this is a huge city. So I'm not sure what specific location they be in, but the only way you would know is you would have to go to those specific functions. So I could meet some Haitians, but I would have to find out where the Haitian events are at. Like, where do they be? But they're not big like that. The Jamaican population here has shrunk quite a bit too. A lot of them got deported or maybe moved to other cities. It used to be way more Jamaicans. I think it's still halfway decent. I've seen a couple of brethren throwing parties and stuff, but it looked weak. It don't look like it's a lot of Jamaicans here too much no more either. Not like it was in the 80s. Africans, I think it's a nice number of Africans here. We do have an Ethiopian community. I don't know how big they are either, because you would have to go to their events. But I know my favorite Ethiopian restaurant, they just opened up another one down around the university. I used to go to the one way on the north side. Now they got one like 55th, like on the south side. I have to go check that out. I know some brothers that I go get hats from. I forgot where those brothers are from. I forgot where they're from. I got to ask the brother. I used to have a recording of all the African greetings and I lost it. I got to do it all over again. I forgot where they're from. I forgot where he told me he's from. And most of them too mixed to be half Haitian, so rare to find a pure Haitian fresh from Haiti in Chicago. I think so. They're probably mixed, but typically people like that don't come where we got winters. So typically people from the Caribbean or from warm climates, they don't come to Chicago, like that. They'll go to Texas, they'll go to Florida for sure. If they do go north, they'll go to New York. It's a bunch of Haitians in New York. But typically, black immigrants don't come to Chicago like that. They don't come to Chicago. If they come north, they'll go to New York or they'll go to a smaller place like Ohio. That's why Trump trying to get them out of Ohio. They'll go to Milwaukee. They'll go to a less expensive, smaller city. Yeah, we don't see Haitians like that. I don't never see them. Most black immigrants, they'll go either New York, they're close, they'll go to Florida, but they like the smaller cities. They like the cities, like I said, the smaller. They like those, like Minneapolis, cities like that. And they like warm climate, so they'll go to Texas before they come here. I think it's a lot of Africans and Haitians in Texas. A lot of Haitians in Florida, Miami. They like to be in the warmer climates. Chicago is not the best fit for black immigrants. You know, Chicago's pretty much black and white. Seriously. The Mexicans be over in Little Village, but you don't see no, when you just out downtown and stuff, you're going to just see white people and black people. Because the Mexicans kind of stay out to themselves in places like Little Village and stuff like that. And Chicago is just really just black and white, basically. Tourists in Chicago gonna be white tourists coming from Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Tennessee, Kentucky. This is their big city. When they want to go to those are ones around in the Midwest and a little north. When they want to go to the big city, they come to Chicago. Because Chicago is really the best city in the country anyway. New York is big, but it's a lot to maneuver. But for cultural reasons, people go to New York. I got a friend that just went to see two plays. So New York is where people go to just go to the orchestra, plays, stuff like that. A lot of high class culture in New York. But when they just want to make a quick trip with the kids and take them to another city, they'll shoot to Chicago. And then the lake is like an ocean, like a little ocean, really. You can't see the other side. People will be surprised how big Lake Michigan is. So they're chasing, looking for the Haitians to get them out of here. You know, like someone asked me earlier today what I think about it. We, Foundation of Black Americans, we don't have a good relationship with Haitians. We don't really have a good relationship with Haitians and Africans and stuff like that. Not really. I wouldn't say we have a good relationship with them. Not really. I wouldn't say we'd have. I don't think Foundation of Black Americans would care if they deported Haitians or Africans because we don't really have a good relationship with Haitians or Africans. Not really. We kind of don't have no relationship with them. They're kind of some standoffish. Typically, if the only relationship they'll have is trying to sleep with our women, which a lot of Black Foundation Black American men, we don't like that. And we don't really like Black immigrants coming here sleeping with our women like that because it's one sided. You know what I'm saying? They don't bring no women with them, so it feels a little exploitive. You know, to us, it feels like okay, you like the women, you don't really mess with the brothers. Yeah, it's a little, it's a little degrading. The Black immigrant men, they just sleep with the women. It's weird. You know, you don't get to meet their women, so it feels. I don't know. It's just a weird feeling. It's a one-sided. It's one-sided. Where your damn women at? You know what I'm saying? What you think this is? The Jamaicans the same way. The Trinidadians, all of them. It's one side. Well, not the Trinidadians. Their women are available. I give it to the Trinis. The Jamaican women aren't. The African women aren't. The Haitian women aren't. It's weird, one-sided with them kind of, you know. And so, and I think I think black immigrants, the men, I can't blame the women. The men are the leaders. I think black immigrant men, I don't think they have really good social skills when it comes to moving to another country. I think, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they I think they lack diplomatic skills, you know, and kind of put themselves in a position where who's going to miss you, you know? What did you bring to the table? Like, you didn't bring anything to the table. You know, how could I stand up for some Haitians? I don't know no Haitians. They dipped off somewhere. You know, it's to me, black immigrant men, they didn't move right. I think I think black men outside of America, I don't think they understand the white man like we do. I think black foreigners is light years behind when it comes to white men. Like they don't really get it, which makes sense because they wasn't under the slavery, so they don't have no up and close experience with white people like us. Foundational Black American are white people experts. We're the most expert on white people. In other countries, they manipulate them by putting they own in charge of them and puppet them from a distance. So in Jamaica, they're not directly dealing with the British or whatever. They have a black prime minister or whatever. And, you know, in Africa, they'll have a black puppet that works for the Europe, right? They're not directly ruled by white people like us. We actually be having a white mayor, a white senator, a white governor, a white president. They'll still have a black prime minister or a black president. They'll still work in a predominantly black type situation, or they'll be around a bunch of Indians and Pakistanis. So we ain't got no Pakistani and Indians in the way. It's just black and white. So I think other black people, I think they far behind. Africa went through colonialism from a distance, though. You understand? They don't go that. They never went through direct colonialism. Their colonialism had puppets. They're still dealing with colonialism, but it never was direct with them. Even when the whites were there, they hired blacks to go outside and deal with the blacks. They never, you can't show no African history with whites dealing directly with them, except maybe in the Congo with Leopold. But other than that, they've always been under colonialism with a buffer. They ain't never been directly under whites. Alley Cat. Look it up. They've never been under like look at Haiti. The Haitians were never for many years they was under Papadot and people like that. Once they chased the French out, They was under Papadon and stuff like that. But they would always hire a black person to go out and be the direct one to tell you what to do. The difference in American slavery is they use indentured servants to do it. They use poor whites to do what the Africans and them do in Africa. So in slavery here, the difference is the whites use their white slaves to watch the black slaves. They call them indentured servants. That's the major difference. They have a lower white person in America to do the dirty work. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Yeah, that's the major difference. They don't, like Jamaicans, all my Jamaican friends and a few they don't really know nothing about white people like that. You know, they don't really, they don't really know nothing like that. You know, that's the major difference. So, I was asked, somebody asked me what I thought about the situation with the Haitians, and I was pretty much like, I think the Haitians, uh, I think they're in a bad situation. I don't. They're not going to get any help from Black Americans. I don't. I don't really think. I don't. I don't. I don't see them getting much help. Yeah, I don't see them getting much help. This picture pretty much shows how America does it. You see? You see who they got out there? This is how America been doing it. That's the difference between America and some of these other countries. America puts a white man in charge. Black people not really paying a lot of attention like that. They can't do nothing for me anyway. Black people can't do nothing for them. You can't do nothing. It's already law. You can't protest that way. Yeah, you can't do nothing about it. When you start talking about deportation and stuff like that, black people ain't coming outside getting involved with that. That's a fact. And typically, foundational black Americans, no, typically foundational black Americans we don't really like black immigrants. We don't really like black immigrants. Black Americans feel that black immigrants kind of betrayed us. You know what I'm saying? It's been too long. Like, they ain't really never been no brothers and sisters. We don't really like black immigrants. We look at black immigrants as enemies, to be honest with you. Not like physically, but they like enemies. Like, if you move into somebody else's land and you never establish no relationship with them, what you think they're gonna think about you? Like, black immigrants never establish no relationship. They just here. The most relationship that black Americans have with black immigrants is in nursing. And our women hate them. Our women hate African nurses. Ask a black woman that work in nursing. Black Americans do not like no African nurses or doctors, especially the nurses. Those are some of the meanest people you ever met in your life. Remember the one black nurse said, "Black Americans, I hate them. I hate them." Remember the video went viral where she was saying that? I said, "Damn, she's gonna lose her job." Remember the old nurse? I don't know where she was from, some kind of black lady. Y'all remember that video? Where she went live and was ranting about how she hate black Americans. It was tripped out. And she a nurse. Y'all remember that video? Man, that was crazy. That was what, about 4 years ago? That was crazy. We was like, what the hell did we do to her? We ain't did nothing to her. I mean, when I was in UCLA, well, no, USC, after I got stabbed up, man, that black nurse was so evil. It was disheartening because I'm in here stabbed up. You're supposed to take care of me. But she did not like me. And I haven't done nothing to her. She just didn't like me. African men, too. Get in the elevator with an African man. He will not speak to you, typically. Boy, he won't say nothing. You can get in the elevator with anybody else, whites from everywhere. He won't say hi or nothing. And if you say, how you doing? It looked like it kill him to speak. Because I do it sometimes just to poke him. I'd be like, hey, what's going on, bro? And he'd be like, how are you? You know, it's tripped out. Oh, she was Haitian, same thing. Haitian. That's why they call Haitian because they hate us. But yeah, you get in the elevator with an African man. Woo. The only ones I met every now and then that was cool was Ghanaians. Some of the Ghanaians brothers is kind of cool. But them other Africans, them West Africans, them Nigerians in there, oh hell no. They will not speak to you at all. The East Africans, like them Sudanese and Somalians and Ethiopians, hey man, they will not speak to you. One time, me and the Queen, we went for dinner. She had came up to town and she was staying at a hotel. We was hanging out, and we wanted to go get some food. I forgot where we was going, so we got in a cab, and it was some East African, I think Eritrean or something. And I'm trying to talk to the dude, but his vibe was like he really didn't want me talking to him. He just wanted to get me to the location and for me to get out. I was just showing the Queen. I was saying, so where you from, brother stuff? And he was stiff as a board. He did not want to talk to me at all. He really didn't want me in his cab. In Chicago, too. He just want to pick up white people. You know, Africans, they suck up to white people. They don't like black people, typically. Yeah, they only bow down to you. Now, they bow down. They bow all the way down to Europeans. For real, like quick. That's another thing why we ain't doing all that. But they bright, they lighten up when it's white people. Oh, they love them. Oh my God, it's sickening. I'm not saying they shouldn't be friendly, because I be friendly with everybody. Yeah, I seen Lee Daniels in the cab with the African dude, and nobody would pick him up in New York because you know they won't pick you up. My boy, he had dreadlocks, so he said when he trying to get a cab, he pull his dreadlocks out, and when they pull up, be like, "Yo, man, take me here," because if they know he a Black American, they will not pick you up. African cab drivers will not pick up a Black American. I'm telling you. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what kind of business you're doing or nothing. It's sickening, to be honest. One time when I was driving Uber, I seen an African Uber driver, and he had a bunch of whites in there, and he was doing this, and he was singing with them, and he was smiling, and they was doing it, and then when he looked at me, he just froze. I was just looking. You should have seen him. He was really overdoing it. Maybe that's for a tip, I guess. But it was, oh man, it was bad. He seen me and he froze. I'm like, dude, this is what you're doing to make some money? Like hey, you should have seen them. Yeah, they do. So they not gonna really get, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was hard because it was a lane between us, and he was the third lane. I'm one, two, and he was three, and he was going. It was about five whites in there, and he had on their music, and he was really going hard and singing and moving and going hard. And when he seen me, just I said, God. So typically, ain't nobody gonna really care. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no We don't have no good relationship with them people. Look, culture and social tensions. Prominent figures express concerns over perceived resentment from black outsiders toward foundational black Americans historically tied to slavery. Some black Americans feel their struggles, unlike some black immigrants, have been overlooked. This is printed. And then sometimes life don't work in your way because this lady, she pretty much ruined uh, black immigrants, period, when she called us dirty black Americans. This phrase referred to a viral social media controversy sparked by a guest on a podcast. The online discussion involved tensions surrounding the African diaspora and relations between black Americans and foreign born members of the diaspora. The incident, a guest of Haitian descent made controversial remarks using the phrase during a podcast appearance. The reaction, the clip circulated widely across platforms like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, triggering intense backlash and debates regarding cultural respect and intra-community tension. The discussion, the controversy has highlighted ongoing conversations about identity, belonging, and the complexities of relationships within the global black community. But see, that's not all. You on our turf, you see what I'm saying? You in our territory and everybody ain't really conversational like that. You understand? Some people gonna take it a whole nother way because you on our turf and you talking sideways. Now I'm not gonna get into details. You read between the lines, but some black Americans is different. I'm gonna just leave that like that. You understand? A lot of these Africans and stuff coming over here playing. She felt comfortable, but it ain't just that. She just showed straight up her lack of disrespect. You know, why would I sit in front of some African brothers and sisters and say something disrespectful? How do you feel comfortable being cruel and mean? The fact that you feel comfortable being cruel and mean, right? Right? What does that tell you? And so for us, we like, oh, your whole community is like that. That's how we look at it. And you ain't just doing that out the blue. This is something you be doing all the time. A lot of black immigrants, they got two sides. They got the one side when they got to come in front of us, but they got the other side, like Jamaicans. When I met a lot of Jamaicans, they was talking this Rasta stuff, this black unity. But once I got in the inner circles and caught them in places where it's a whole bunch of Jamaicans, you can hear them saying Yankee and all of this. I never really 100% trusted them anymore. Because now you let me know what y'all be saying in the back. You understand? If that's not a part of your culture on the backside, you ain't going to say it. So even though it's a lot of Jamaicans that wouldn't agree with that in public, I have to think it's something that's said more than I get to see. This is something y'all be saying a lot on the back end. So I know once you do that in a territory like the United States, and this is what a lot of black immigrants don't know about the United States. Like what you do over here, you can't do over here. And now with the internet, with us over here, see what you did over there, it's different. So some stuff you might say, like in New York, if she would have said that in Chicago, it would have been different. What a lot of Africans in them is doing in Minnesota, wherever you be at, you mess around and do that here or in certain other places, it's gonna go bad. You know what I'm saying? And then don't nobody like none of y'all. It's just human nature. You know, you looking and you saying, I can't trust these Haitians. See, God don't like ugly. Think about it. She said that right before this happened. What'd that tell you? You see how you hang yourself? She said that. She called us dirty black Americans right before this happened. So how much sympathy Haitians got right now? None. Everybody gonna like, well, get them the hell out of here since we dirty black Americans. Just like that. We would call ICE on them. You got on social media and said that about us like that? I don't remember us doing nothing to Haitians. I ain't never really seen no black Americans say nothing about no Haitians or really no African. Seriously. You would never have no foundational black Americans doing no live stream and just say something real disrespectful about some Africans or some Haitians and stuff. You will never see that. We don't function like that. So I tell you right there, them people different from us. They don't got the class. Like, we don't do that. Seriously. If we did, I'd tell you. I'd be around black Americans all the time. Black Americans do not bring up other people. We just mind our business and talk about ourselves. That's it. If I bring up some Africans, brothers ain't gonna call them nothing. They're not gonna call them nothing. Seriously. It's just gonna be a regular conversation. Oh man, I got this hat over with them Africans. Ain't nobody gonna call them nothing. They're like, well, on 75th, I'm gonna go get me one. That's what, if they like it, that's all. Nobody gonna say, oh, them Africans this, them Africans that. Nobody gonna say that. That's a fact. Because in the United States, like in Chicago, if we have a problem with an African, we look at it as that African. See what I'm saying? We don't look at it as Africans. This is a real big city, so we have a different mentality. So we just judge like the one person. It would have to be a constant thing from that group before we would just do that. Like, we don't have a name for Africans or none of that. Seriously. That old African booty scratch stuff, that was kids like when in the 70s. I ain't never heard no black American use that term. And I'm 68. I've never heard, all since I was a kid. And when kids used to say that, we was talking about each other. We wasn't even talking about Africa. We used to call each other that. Facts. I'd never heard of a derogatory term for Africans from a black American. Even if they don't like them, they're going to say them Africans be tripping, but they're going to still call them Africans. We don't got no word like Akata and all that over there. We don't got that. Them people, You can't really trust these other blacks like that. I don't know what Brandon Johnson is. I don't know what he is. I don't know. I don't know what he is. I don't know what Brandon is from. I don't know where Brandon is from. I haven't paid Brandon no attention because Brandon is not going to win no more. So I don't pay him no attention. He's basically not the mayor. He's just sitting in there. So I haven't paid him no attention. Brandon is basically he's not really the mayor. He's just there until his time up. He's done. So I haven't paid him no attention. I don't know what he is, but ain't nobody paying him no attention. Nobody gonna pay him no attention till it's time to election. But I haven't paid him no attention because he lost his job a long time ago. He ain't nobody. Yeah, he lost his job. And the board of education, I don't know what he got. Like I said, I don't pay him no attention. He didn't do a good job way back. So I don't pay him no attention. I don't know what he's doing. We just waiting for a re-election and get him out of there. I don't pay him no attention. There's no need in crying about him. We just gonna get him out of there. So once we decided, we would only cry about him if he had a chance to be reelected. He's got no chance to be reelected. Nobody's not really paying him no attention. He do what he do. All we're gonna do is flip everything back. But as far as the board of education go, the board of education, another reason people's not paying a whole lot of attention to that, because the younger generation ain't got no babies. Ain't no board of education. Y'all ain't having no babies. It's empty schools everywhere. The young black man, he ain't having no babies. He's a weirdo. That's a whole nother story. He ain't having no babies. It ain't even no kids to go to school. It ain't no kids outside like that. Y'all ain't got no kids. Ain't no kids. That's a whole nother video. The young black man ain't got no kids. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm in Chicago, so nobody don't call us that to our face, so we don't got no firsthand. Uh, Chicago's extremely black, so we don't be getting no derogatory stuff. You ain't having no kids because you're in war. Whatever you got to tell yourself. Whatever you got to tell yourself. Hey, whatever you got to tell yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to argue with no cartoon. Whatever you got to tell yourself. Somebody will listen to you. Like, I'm not going to, I don't even know what you are. You could be a lady any day. I ain't going to argue with you. Whatever y'all got to tell y'all so. I ain't even had that conversation. I'm going to stick with what I'm on. But usually when you're in war, you have more kids so you can raise soldiers. So I don't know. I don't know. Whatever you got to tell yourself. A lot of y'all gay. Don't leave that part out. Listen, don't play with me. Don't leave out the fact that a lot of y'all is homosexuals. So stop playing with me. Let's just move on before I have to do y'all dirty. This young generation is the gayest generation in black history. So let's not play no games. No, you ain't got no babies. But don't try to pretend like I don't know why. Don't leave out the most important reason why. We're not going to do that. Let's just move on, for I hurt a lot of y'all feelings. And I'll say this big furrow. You see how they said every reason they ain't got children other than they sleeping with the same kind. You notice they left that out? Because that's definitely going to cut the population. If a lot of men is with a lot of men. Am I right or am I wrong? If a lot of men is with men, and if a lot of women is with women, is the population going to go down, yes or no? Just give me a yes or a no. Big Pharaoh don't be wanting to play. If the younger generation is with the same sex, is the population and the birth rate going to go down? Yes or no? Put it in the chat and let me move on. Because this is the gayest generation in Black America history. Facts. Let me move on. Please, before I start hurting feelings. Don't be coming over here lying to Big Pharaoh. Don't be lying to Big Pharaoh. Okay? I'm going to start telling what your men in the penitentiary doing. Hold on. Yeah, so with the temporary status, the Haitians, once they put all these Haitians out with temporary status, they're going to try to put some of the other ones out too. They really haven't contributed anything to foundational Black Americans, okay? They left themselves on the island. They have no backup, okay? Which is the worst thing to do. So they just here on the island, basically. They got no backup. They got no allies. But they definitely got people want to replace them. Right? So the Haitians is and then like I said, this lady, she just really messed the Haitians up. She went viral calling her own brothers and sisters, because we supposed to all be brothers and sisters, and for her to get out there and call us dirty Black Americans, especially the way Haiti looked, it was just it's just crazy. No, she basically ruined the Haitians. Seriously. Sometimes you got to watch your mouth. Once again, cultural and social tensions. Prominent figures express concerns over perceived resentment from black outsiders toward foundational black Americans, historically tied to slavery. Some black Americans feel their struggles, unlike some black immigrants, have long been overlooked. So, what a black immigrants don't understand is we wasn't in no black place. Africa is a black place. Haiti is a black place. Jamaica is a black place. We was in a white place while they was constantly in a black place. Right? So we've always had to fight, and we've always lived where it's majority white. Black immigrants have always lived where it's majority black. And then we fought in a majority white country to get equal rights and justice for black people. And then they came here on our fight. Right? So now they coming into a predominantly white country based on us. This is why we don't like them at all. Because you would think they would come and be like, because when they come here, they not stupid. Africans not stupid. They see all these white people. Caribbeans ain't stupid. Haitians, y'all not stupid. Y'all see America's predominantly white. But you trying to pretend like we ain't made it for you to come here. And you coming here, stepping on our fight, not respecting our fight. How is you a brother or a sister? We don't need no brother like you or no sister like you. What we need with you for? Where even whites looking at you like, don't you know these black people's the only reason you here? And so to me, black immigrants, they make black people look bad. Specifically what they had. That lady made Haitians look bad. Because white Americans know the struggle that we have went through here. So they looking at her and they look at Africans, and white Americans don't like y'all. Because these are people that seen the struggle and they figure, why you don't know? And so behind all our struggle and all our hard work, so I was born in 1958. My mother and father went through a lot. Okay? Went through a lot in Alabama. Went through a lot. Some of you Africans, you didn't grow up in Alabama in the early 1900s. So now black immigrants, you have thoroughly disrespected us a lot. We really don't like y'all at all. I'm going to tell you what and you coming on top of all our hard work, and you ain't bringing nothing to the table. And I speak for a lot of black Americans when I say, you get money, if I can't get nothing with you, then fuck you. Get your ass out of here. If they threw out every black immigrant, I wouldn't blink. I'd be happy. Bye. Because what we losing? A hater, somebody eating off our table, somebody that's making us look weak in front of white Americans after we done been looking strong, and here you come, backwards ass. making black people look bad, bringing your backwards mentality from your backwards ass country here. That's what they're doing. They're bringing that backwards, their backwards mentality, their slow third world mentality here. That's just a fact. And being here, coming up under an all white country, coming up under slavery and fighting to give away, we don't like no yes, sir, boss. We don't like that, in case you don't know. We don't like no yes, sir, boss. Yeah, boss. That's black immigrants. Backwards. And then, like in Chicago, put it in the chat. In Chicago, what kind of whites we came up under? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. What type of whites, when blacks migrated to Chicago, what type of whites did we come up under? Put it in the chat. Watch this. Put it in the chat. In Chicago, what type of whites did we come up under? Put it in the chat. Exactly. So here you come to Chicago. Here you come up here in America talking crazy. But you don't even know what type of black people you really talking to. You don't even know who you're talking to. You don't even know. You don't even know. This is the biggest gangster in gangster history. This is the movie The Godfather was made out of him. Tony, Big Tuna. The number one gangster in American history. Never been to prison, never been to jail. Name never got out there. You from Africa. You from Haiti. You know, and you coming up here talking crazy. Yeah, that stuff that sister said up there in New York, have she made that mistake in Chicago, she could never be outside. I ain't promoting no violence. I'm just telling you. New York is immigrant. New York ain't foundational black America. Chicago's foundational black America. So the disrespect, I can say that in the 80s, black Americans built like a Pan-African type of vibe for Africans. It never made it long because the Africans never reciprocated it. It didn't take long to find out, oh, they ain't even into no type of unity or nothing. You know. And even the Jamaicans that was pushing it didn't take long to see they was just doing it with the music. So it didn't take long. By the time you get to the end of the 90s, Foundation Black Americans found out that these immigrants, they wasn't really into no black unity. So we start realizing, okay, we just got to stick with ourselves and just do what we got to do because we got kids to feed, we got homes to buy, we got automobiles, we got things to do. So we've been not dealing with that fake black unity stuff because we would work with Africans and stuff. They was all funny acting. Yeah, they're a total insult to all the work we done in this country for black people to walk around. And they come in from Africa and the Caribbean and they walk around on our dollar, they walk around on our blood, sweat, and tears, right? In a place where they never would have been able to walk without us. They wouldn't have been able to even get on the bus or nothing. There's no way no Africans would have been able to get on no plane without Rosa Parks and MLK and them. So they don't even know the sacrifice was made for them, right? They just living off of people's sacrifices with no regards for the sacrifice. I think Africans and Caribbeans think they could just, I think they just coming here on their own accord. That's what I think they think. I don't even think they think about the history of the country, why they could come here. It never crossed their mind. But the problem is if you don't know how strong we was to get free, to be able to walk around here free and get money like we getting, to be worth 2.1 trillion, because that's what Foundation Black, if you don't understand that, then you don't really know who you playing with on the dark side either. If you don't know how hard we worked to get here and what the fights we had to get here, then you don't know the dangers of playing with us either. And you don't know what's going to happen if that spread with foundational Black Americans that you are op. And then your little kid go to school where the mama didn't sit up and been complaining that this foreign lady is calling us names. Now his son, 14, 15, 16, he outside with your kids. All he knows is mama don't like y'all. They causing their own people hella problems. Then they don't understand the dynamic of alliances and unity when you live around people a long time. And so Black immigrants don't know our tightness with white Americans. They think white Americans are our opposition. Not really. There's some scrimmages, but no. Black Americans and white Americans are family. White Americans are not going to like Black immigrants talking crazy about us. See, they don't know none of these dynamics. They don't know. To them, they probably think white Americans and Black Americans is mortal enemies. That's not true. That's not true. We are American citizens, and we've beefed, we've fought, we've squabbled, and we've built together. You didn't build nothing. And then white people is like this. They don't like no rats. When they see a Black person come in and speak against a Black person, they definitely not going to like it. Because they going to think to themselves, they be on wish would. They be white American be like, they wish an Irish would come over here and do that. This is how they thinking. Boy, they wish a white person would come from Ireland or somewhere and come in and do that to them and talk about them. They wish they would. So they looking at you, what the balls, the nerve of you to come into Black America's territory and act like that. and our territory. So white Americans are thinking this our territory. You can't talk to them like that. This not your territory. See, they don't understand. They looking at it like you think you don't run nothing over here. So watch your mouth. You over here, when you start stepping on our feet, you stepping on white Americans' feet because you saying you run something. And they're like, no, you don't run nothing. Who told you to talk? Now, brothers and sisters that ain't messed up, y'all don't think that Ice and Tom Homan heard what she said? Mind you, Tom Homan and Obama like this. Tom Homan worked for Barack Obama when they was talking about all of them immigrants in them cages. They was throwing immigrants out. Biden let them back in. And so white Americans, they looking at it like, you didn't came here from Haiti, you talking bad about Americans. That's how they looking at it. They looking at you a Haitian and you talking greasy about Americans. That you come on American soil, disrespect Americans that they've been knowing a long time. They don't know you. And whites know history. And they thinking after all black Americans did, you gonna come over here with that level of disrespect? Let me tell you something about white men. They deal with respect, especially gangsters and politicians. And they gonna look at that as the ultimate disrespect. And God don't like ugly. So now they throwing all y'all out. And anybody think that that lady didn't add to that, you a fool. She made sure you wasn't gonna get no extension. That's a fact. This is gangster over here. Look, let me ask y'all a political question. If the Republicans throw all the Haitians out, who gonna win the next presidential election? If we throw the Haitians out, this Haitian lady disrespect us. It's gonna make black America say the Democrats ain't shit because y'all the one let her come over here and do that. We don't want her to come back. For black immigrants not to come back disrespecting us, we'll put a Republican in there to make sure you don't come back. That's a fact. There's black Americans that never voted Republican, gonna vote Republican to keep immigrants out, black immigrants out. Black immigrants, that lady helping the Republican win. Haitians, Africans helping the Republicans win. Because black Americans want you out of here. That guy up in New York that's going to turn New York into a third world country? Yeah. They want him out of here. Right? Facts. My whole situation failed. I'll pick it up later. They want him out of here. They want him gone. That's a fact. Oh, it broke. Oh, it cracked. It broke. That's a fact. They want him out of here. They want him gone. Gone, gone, gone. They're going to want him gone. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But this is an absolute fact. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She hurt All black immigrants, bad. I kid you not. She's hurt them. She's hurt them really, 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 really bad. Her timing couldn't have been any worse. There was whites fighting with us and all that, but there's a lot of political things going on in the country right now, and they feel like the Democrats are trying to stack votes from illegal Hispanics. They feel like the Democrats trying to open up the border to get a big Hispanic contingency to try to hurt the Republicans. So the Republicans are going to go for the black vote to offshoot this Hispanic situation. That's what's going to happen. And that's what's going to happen. They couldn't have picked the worst time. She couldn't have picked the worst time. God don't like ugly. And ICE is going to be brutal. And then they got no sympathy. They'll get no, whites know. They say, oh, well, they ain't finna get no more black sympathy. They can just throw them out. Whites are going to be like, they ain't got no sympathy. Like, she kicked their legs from under. And then their behavior, black immigrants' behavior has been horrendous. White America sees all of that. They shaking their head. They're like, they didn't lock in with the black Americans. And it's only a million of them here and a million of them there, and there's 50 million black Americans. They looking at you like you slow. How 2 million Africans over here didn't lock in with the 50 million? Slow, like slow. No political sense at all. Like, that doesn't even make any sense at all. Why would you come here and be on the island like that? So now they ain't got to do nothing but get rid of 500,000 Africans and 500,000 Haitians, and you're nobody now. Nothing. And then they'll ruin your reputation so nobody will hire you. You'll have to go back home on your own. And then black Americans ain't going to like you. So what are you going to do? If you are skilled, white Americans going to replace you with white skill. You just gave them a green light to fire you, to fire Africans and fire black foreigners. You're going to get fired. You're going to lose those jobs. You're going to get laid off. Because you came into a country and you did not link with the people that could have told you how to move. Black immigrants didn't realize that they're black. They start believing they believe they're Nigerians. They believe they're Haitians. They believe that. They think they're Haitians. I swear to God. They think they're Haitians. They think they're Africans. For real. They moved into a social structure that they don't know nothing about. Seriously. They think they're Haitians. They think they're Nigerians. They really believe that. That's what they think. They really think that. That's why they're not going to get no support, because they're trying to get Nigerian support or African support or Haitian support. No, America's black and white and Hispanic and Asian. America don't do Nigerian. America don't do Haitian. America don't do Irish. America don't do Irish and Italian. They do white. What it is they didn't come to the people that know the system and let us teach them the system. They didn't let us school them. Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. They moved from countries that run on tribalism into a country that runs on race. And they think they really believe they Nigerians. You ever been around like Nigerians and Haitians, Jamaican and them? You ever see how stank they act? They don't act black. They don't be black. They be like Ethiopian. They be like Nigerian. They be like Jamaican. They don't never be. They not black. They don't be black. They ain't got a chance in hell. They don't be black. Coming in the country trying to compete with whites that's white. They not doing Irish and all that. They're not doing that. They're not. A white man's not marrying another white woman, no Polish woman and all that. That's been over since the 20s or the teens. They marrying white now. My white friends ain't got none of their original identification like that. They don't got that. They not Irish no more and all that. They just white. Their wife parents is come from two different countries. Their parents come from two different countries. Their daddy Italian, their mama German. His wife mama is Italian, daddy Irish. You come over here doing some tribalism. Talking about you a Nigerian. Talking about you a Haitian. And get out there on an island by yourself. Looking at us crazy. And you ain't got no damn allies. And you let white America know you ain't got no allies. Well, you can't be no dumber than that. You went up there, you let them know, oh, we don't have no backup. We don't mess with the black American. Man, ICE already know who. That's another thing. You come from primitive country. Man, it's 2026. They know where everybody at and everybody. Everything is digital. They know who everybody is and where everybody is at. Okay? You understand? Crazy. Haitians ain't got no support. Black people, we can't wait for you to get out. This lady kicked the legs from under the Haitians. Her statement went super viral. And in America, when she comfortable, America, we're going to say, that's how the Haitians think. Because we smart. We know for her to be that comfortable, this how she be talking around her friends. She ain't just blurt that out. When we see an African call or something, we already know that it's standard. We know it's standard. We're not stupid. People don't say nothing that ain't standard. That's why you don't see black Americans like using stuff like that, because it's not standard. Like when black Americans, we off to ourselves, we don't be talking about white people like that as white people. If we go to the job and a dude giving us a problem, he white, we say this white dude. We don't consider him white people. We're not primitive like these other blacks. We don't consider him a representation of white people. Like at my job, it's this white dude, he be tripping. It's this white dude, not white people. But these primitive people, they be lumping people together because they tribal. They tribalistic. So they think everything is tribal. Nothing is tribal in the United States but sports. Sports is the only tribalism we got. We don't have racial tribalism here. Facts. Not in the United States. We don't got no racial tribalism. You got a couple groups, KKKs and Nazi groups, trying to keep it alive, but it's not working. Nobody don't invest with them. Everybody trying to get some money. In America, tribalism don't equal no money. That's why it's dying out. Like that's not no, it's no, it don't pay. I ain't kidding. So they going bye-bye. She really kicked her own hatred people right in the face. They're going to blame her when they get back and when they end up in these detention centers. Her name's going to be mud. Oh, when they start grabbing them, watch her name on YouTube. Watch. Watch how many videos going to be about her. It's going to be overwhelming. Because she didn't get them no chance. Because she drove away any black support. There's no black person gonna support her because you're gonna be an outcast in the black community. Be like, man, she called us dirty black Americans, and she meant it too. You seen her face? She really don't like us like that. But she from the backwoods. She don't know nothing about America. Because she went viral. So America gonna stick the news on her. She don't know where she at. America gonna stick to, they can't wait. They're gonna report updates on her. She don't understand America. Am I lying, y'all? He in Chicago, the way he live at. He live in Chicago. Because ain't nobody in Chicago gonna pay no attention to nothing like that. She like that. We ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna turn like that because of her. We ain't gonna turn like that because of her. But what I'm saying, she don't understand American media. If she sneezes, they're gonna report it. She of Haitian descent, which means she born in America, but She went viral saying something horrible. And when you call fellow Americans dirty, you're not going to be considered an American. She basically said she's not an American. She de-Americanized herself. Nobody's going to respect her as an American. She psychologically canceled herself. You know what I'm saying? But she don't understand America, because in America, the news is on her bumper, okay? There are news people keeping up with her. Anything happen to her, she's going to be on the news. She do not understand how the USA work. Now she's the media. Now she's the media. She's made herself a media story. And in America, they never gonna let that die. Every so often they're gonna show her. People outside gonna be in her face. Imagine what's gonna happen if when people see her outside. Imagine what Foundation of Black Americans gonna say when they see her and you call them dirty, and they see you at a store or something. Imagine what FBA females gonna do. Foundation of Black Americans gonna do. They see her in the store. Dude's gonna say they see us in the store. Oh, you the chick called us dirty. Would you want to walk around with that? Would you want to call Irish people something and be outside bumping into Irish people? You could pick any group. Would you want to call a group something like that and go viral and be outside and be bumping into people from that group? You could pick any group. Would you want your face associated with that? Crazy. And look, coincidentally, they throwing Haitians out. What a coincidence. You couldn't have picked no worse timing. You couldn't have picked no worse timing. That's why God don't like ugly. You couldn't have picked no worse timing. For real. So I'm going to keep my eye on what's going on. It's going to get crazy. Believe that. Support the channel. Victory.